So in this video, I'm going to teach y'all 10 things I wished I learned before I started my clothing brand. The first thing is it is way harder to get sales than you think. Look, the first time I started my clothing brand, the first 2 to 3 months I didn't have a sale. And most people, when they try to start a clothing brand, they don't get like a sale maybe by the end of that year or maybe 2 years later. I'm lucky enough to even have a sale in the first 5 months, and which benefited me because I knew the customer very well. And once I knew him, he told a lot of people, and you know what goes on. And funnily enough, ever since that, the beginning of this year, January 2025, where the week right after New Year's, I had the biggest skyrocket in business. I had like 2 to 3 sales per month, per week, sorry. And I just like had a lot of sales to manage. And that was like helping me learn along my journey how to manage a lot of things in a small period of time. Because look, I would have sales for like three on Friday night that needs to get ready for Tuesday. And that's basically like 2 or 3 or a couple of days I need to like actually get the product ready. And I learned on my journey where like I had to like be ready for orders. So like let's say I looked at my top orders, my top sellers, and I bought bulk order of those. And once I bought bulk orders of those, I just like sell them faster because I already had like multiple orders for that shirt. And then I had a different shirt that was my top seller, and then a different shirt. And it's just I had to like manage all my orders. So that's like the first thing I would like to learn before I started my clothing brand. The second thing I wish I learned before I started my clothing brand is consistency over perfect designs. Look, you can be the best clothing designer you can possibly be, and maybe post like twice a month for every new collection. First of all, if you post twice a month, by the end of the year, you're probably gonna have 24 products. I know that might sound wrong, but let's say you're not making the best designs though. You're just like making ordinary designs. And lots of people were like, well, what if he did this and had more example or like more variations of that shirt all over the his website? That's pretty much what I did. I hired a couple of designers for me, and I learned a lot from them, and they taught me how to like how to use some websites to design, how to get things easily printed for you and stuff. And I learned a lot from that, and that helped me improve myself by building connections for designing my shirts better and stuff. And going back where I said it's harder to get sale than you think. When you get a really good design shirt, that could help you sell more because once you have like a good product to sell and like people actually start seeing it, you can get multiple sales. Like one person that tells that guy, he tells the other person, and so on. The third thing I wished I learned before I started my clothing brand is your network is your first customer base. So let's say you know a lot of people already before you started your clothing brand. Let's say you know like you're in this like popular group at school or at work. You're like you know a lot of people and they already like know you for who you are and they have experience talking to you for a while. And once you start like actually getting connections with people and you start selling your product or whatever, already a lot of people know what you do and they could like start buying from you. You can like saying, "Hey guys, I sell this for this and the price for that's like this much." And people are like, "Oh yeah, sure." And they'll like buy it and like maybe that person buys it and then he recommends it to a friend. That friend buys it and he recommends it to another friend and then so on. And once you get a really good like customer base, you can have more sales. And to be honest, once you already have a good 5 to 10 customers that already bought from you, you're kind of set because at that point they can just recommend it to more people and they can their people they recommend to can recommend to even more people and so forth. And it's just like it would really help you out if you already have a big customer base that would like to buy what you have. So I learned that before I started my clothing brand because when I started my clothing brand, I didn't really know who to sell. Like I had a niche market. It's just I didn't know friend wise who would like to buy that. And I just like started to selling it to my friends' parents, and then they started buying it for their kids, and then so on. And the fourth thing I wish I learned before I started my clothing brand is branding is more than a logo. Look, branding is like how your business, like what message your business or what feeling your business shows. Like for example, Rolex, they don't sell watches, they sell status. And when people see a person with like status, they say, "Oh, that must be like a high figured person." And if they see you with a Rolex, they say, "Oh, they must be have a high really status to even be able to purchase the watch." And you're not supposed to like sell products, but your main goal is to like get people to buy and you sell your feeling. And what's it called? A lot of people they don't understand that until like it's their fifth or seventh year in the business where they're like actually making sales but not the right amount of sales for the right amount of purchases people have made. The next thing is content creation is mandatory. Look, like TikTok and Instagram and all those things you see, a lot of people have different businesses and they try to promote it on these social media platforms. And when they do that, sometimes you don't really check it. I mean, like people don't actually check their notifications to like actually look. And like for example, my clothing brand Heaven's Wardrobe, we are on three platforms. We are on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Our most viral thing on YouTube so far it got us over 1,000 views, and what's it called? It's like over out of the three. So uh, we usually post more on YouTube, but like I manage Instagram. I got a group of people who manage my YouTube, and I also have another group of people where TikTok. But to be honest, TikTok isn't where we really work on. We just manage YouTube and Instagram so far. And right now, since I'm working on Instagram, that's where I post like new collections that come out, models trying out new shirts and new products. And once they actually like start buying it off from our content from Instagram or YouTube, you'll get more sales. So it's really mandatory for you to have lots of uh, feedback on online or when you post online where people can actually buy your stuff. The next thing is inventory can tie up your money. So let's say you decide to buy a bulk order of clothes, but you don't have no space. So you decide to like you go in your garage, just like set a space just for all the bulk orders. And let's say you spend that in that period of time buying boxes, buying different types of places where you can put these bulk orders. And some days where your customers just don't buy anything and you just bought lots of orders of shirts, you're just gonna lose more money than you think you're gonna lose because that the boxes you're gonna put them in, the shirts from the manufacturer, the bulk order, this, that, taxes, inflation, and all that will like take a lot of space and money and time from you, which would what's it called hurt you a lot later. And to be honest, when I had my skyrocket in January, I just bought a bulk order of 10 shirts and I just kept them there and I sold out pretty quick with that 10 orders because I knew I had a sale for basically every week. So I didn't have to like think I'm not gonna sell them because I already have a big customer base for that month. And I would just like get an order, get my shirt, and then deliver it to you. The next thing I wish I learned before I started my clothing brand is small details matter. Look, going that extra mile for a customer can really benefit you. Like, let's say you're delivering a shirt and you don't have a packaging system. You just like put it in a plastic bag and deliver it. Be honest. Let's say you order something online and it they deliver it to you in a plastic bag. You're not gonna be like really what am I gonna say? Really happy that you order because you're gonna think it's like made from cheap material or do you think they're just not, they're like really shady, or do you don't think they're like good to buy stuff from? And the thing is, once you actually get a packaging system, when people actually see your products, they're like, oh, they have a good packaging for their products, and they're like, oh, they know how to do this, and they have experience from learning from this. And once that actually improves your sales, people were gonna like recommend your business to more people because they really enjoy the way you treat them and like the way you would give stuff back. And like for example, let's say you have an order for Friday night and you got that order last week and the shirt comes in Wednesday, but the person scheduled it on Friday. Let's say you delivered early, and once you deliver early, their customers are going to be like, wow, they actually deliver faster than usual. That means they are really good with their customers and they actually take care of them and they make sure they get their stuff. And that is really beneficial because once you actually get a customer who actually gets their products even before you schedule it, like if you do it earlier, which will benefit you because they'll like give you better reviews to other people. And like for example, the way you like respect them, like thank you, or like these basic manners that people teach you, where they could help you out when you're speaking to a customer, and that just helps out a lot. The next thing I wanted to talk about is you won't always feel motivated. Look, I've helped out a lot of people start their clothing brands. I have a friend of mine who wanted to start a clothing brand, and he got a manufacturer, he got a name and everything, and he got everything, and what's it called? He started designing stuff, and then a week later he was texting me saying like, "Hey, I don't feel like motivated anymore because there's like really not much to do. There's like too much for me to understand." And I was like, "That's you. I understand what you're doing." And look, going back where I said when I started my business, I had zero sales for the first 4 months. I didn't know what to sell. I didn't know how to sell. And like I just worked on different parts of the business every single day. Like even days where I didn't even feel like working because I knew I'm not gonna even get benefit from it later on. I just had a mindset and a plan saying, I know something's gonna happen later on if I completely work on this. And I would just like maybe one day work on finishing up my website, working on a new product, working on our social media page, and just different parts of the business where I would just like work on every day to like get better for the business, and I just wouldn't have to like worry about, oh, since I'm not gonna get any sales for the next maybe couple months, I'm not gonna work on anything until I actually work on it. Like, you know what? Maybe next Monday, since it's a new week, new me, I'll actually decide to work on stuff. No, like, look, you don't have to be perfect to work on a business. You just need to like know how to work on different parts of the business so people can actually buy stuff. And look, once I started my first 10 sales, I knew that I'm probably going to get recommended to more people. So I started working on my delivery systems, and I started hiring more people to help me out with my businesses so I wouldn't have to worry about working on different parts. And once I actually found out people that work well in different positions that could help me beneficially, I wouldn't have to worry in that position. I'll just give it to that person and I'll work on my own part as leading the team. And once you actually have people working and the business is running well, at that point you just need sales and that's pretty much it. The next thing is feedback is gold, not criticism. Always when I deliver a shirt to a customer, on the way back, or let's say I just I got UPS or something to deliver to them, and once I get notified that the package has been delivered, I'll like contact them asking, how was your experience with our business? What do you think was good? And if you have any feedback, let me know. Most of them will be like, oh yes, it's great. Uh, it was really fast. I really enjoyed the experience. Or some of them will be like, "Oh yes, the shirt was maybe a little wrinkled, and I would have wished it wasn't wrinkled as much." And these notes would help me a lot better because next time when I order a shirt, I'll just like order it maybe a couple of days before the delivery date, make sure it's not wrinkled, and if it's wrinkled, I unwrinkle it as much as I can and then deliver it. And I just need to make sure the shirt is well for the customer. Like if they don't give you feedback, you don't learn anything. And I'm trying to learn as much because in that few months period where I started my business, I wanted to learn everything as much as I possibly can so I can improve myself. And once I actually start learning and improving myself because my feedback and I actually understand stuff, that actually improved my business. And now currently we have reached over $672 in sales. So yeah, I've learned a lot over the journey of the time, and now since I've almost reached 1,000, once I reach 1,000, I can be able to say I've officially made over $1,000 worth of sales. My last and final thing I want to talk about is you'll grow as a person, not as a business owner. Like once you start a clothing brand, you basically learn so much. Like for example, I learned so much in the first 2 months of my business. Like I learned how to like speak to more people and be more confident when I talk to people. And I also like learned how to like start making shirts on my own because before I found a manufacturer, I used to get it at this print on demand place. And I was just watch the guy do it with the machine and I learned how he would just put the shirt there, put the wax paper, heat press, how long does it have to be, etc., etc. And once I actually learned how to do it, once I'm able to have enough money to buy the machine on my own, I don't have to worry about buying stuff from a manufacturer, and I will just do it at home and put it in my own custom packaging system and then deliver it. And all of this, you learn so much from starting a clothing brand because one, you learn how to build connection and work network. Two, you learn how to like actually be confident and talk to a lot of people. Three, you actually learn how to like lead and manage your team. So yeah, that's pretty much the 10 things I wished I learned before I started my Christian clothing brand. And I hope y'all learned as much as y'all can. Put in a comment down below where y'all was favorite part of the video, and I'll see y'all in the next video.